W-2 employees versus 1099 contractors. Who pays more in taxes? Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about Social Security plus Medicare taxes. These are known as FICA taxes if you're a W-2 employee, and self-employment tax if you're a 1099 independent contractor. Now, for a W-2 employee, their portion of this tax is 7.65%, while the employer's portion is another 7.65%, for a total of 15.3%. That's the amount that gets sent to the IRS, the 15.3%. Now, when you're a 1099 independent contractor, again, this tax is known as self-employment tax, and it is the same taxes as FICA taxes, just a different name for the independent contractor. However, their portion is 15.3%. This is because they're paying both the employee's portion and the employer's portion. However, because this is where most people talk about this as the bad news, but they don't talk about the good news. And the good news is that you, as a self-employed therapist, are allowed to deduct the employer's portion, which is half of the self-employment tax. So at the end of the day, you're not paying 15.3%. You're paying 7.65% in net self-employment taxes. This is because you get to deduct that employer's portion. And the only reason why the employer of the W-2 employee is paying that 7.65% is because they get to deduct it. Now, I want to show you where on the tax form. This is the self-employment tax form. This is what you file if you're self-employed at tax time. And notice line 12 says self-employment tax. But line 13 is the key that says deduction for 1/2 of the self-employment tax. So at tax time is when the self-employed therapist gets this deduction. And by the way, this is automatic. Every single tax software has this built in if you file the correct tax forms. But let's go and calculate the actual tax. So for the W-2 employee, the tax is calculated against the gross income. And since W-2 employees they don't get deductions for work-related expenses, meaning if you pay your CEUs out of pocket and your employer doesn't reimburse you, you cannot deduct that against your income. So for the W-2 employees, since they have no work deductions, they get taxed at $90,000. So if we apply that 7.65% against $90,000, that's almost $7,000. What about the 1099 contractor? Well, huge difference here is that the independent contractor, because they're self-employed, they get to deduct business-related expenses because they're in business for themselves. So let's say the business expenses are $25,000. 90 minus 25 is $65,000. So the contractor is getting taxed on $65,000, not 90. And if we apply the 15.3% against the $65,000, we get almost $10,000. However, we have to deduct that half of that self-employment tax because we're entitled to that. And so the total tax that the 1099er pays is only $4,973 compared to the almost $7,000 by the W-2 employee. So here's the key takeaway. The W-2 employee will always pay more than the independent contractor, provided that the independent contractor can identify and maximize their deductions. I hope this has been valuable and helpful. If so, you know what to do. Like, comment, and share the video.